Hello, everybody. Welcome to Quantum Witch Cafe, your safe space to talk about anything paranormal, fringe, UFO, UAP if you're fancy. Tonight, we're taking it to the paranormal side. We're going to talk about a a couple of folk legends, urban legends. I don't know what you want to classify them as. One from Ireland and one from Mexico in the Southwest. And tonight I have Crystal Corl. She's a criminologist and a medium and has her own podcast called the Visitation Podcast. I do have her link in the description. And I just want to give a quick thank you to anybody listening now, later in the future, on another planet or in another dimension. Crystal, do you want to give a quick introduction of yourself? Who are you? What do you do? Why do you care about spirits? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I talk to dead people. No, all in a nutshell. No, really. So I'm a criminologist. My specialty is in human behavior. So I basically help you understand why a person does a crime that they do. Aside from that, I am a spiritual medium, so a psychic medium. So basically, I'm able to do remote viewing. So the cases that I usually get are unsolved homicide cases, and I basically go into the scene of the crime and I see exactly what happened through the victim's eyes, essentially. And we go from there and we dissect the case. And as a criminologist, I have to remember that officers or the people that I work for love actual evidence that they can have. So that's why I use, that's why I work with spirit. And I also use my own knowledge as a criminologist so we can bring the pieces together and form a big puzzle. So a completed puzzle. But yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, very cool. So again, she has a podcast. Her Linktree is in the description. Make sure you give her a follow on Instagram and on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. We kind of got into a conversation about, how do we want to talk about? So let's take it to the beginning. I've been wanting to do an Angels and Demons series, but I didn't really know how to kick it off. And I know there's a lot of Angel and Demon videos out there, but Crystal had mentioned a long time ago that when her first child was born, she had seen this woman with long dark hair, and not in a spirit, not like walking in the house, obviously, but like a spirit, kind of like around her and her daughter. And to me, it kind of reminded me of the legend that we hear as little Hispanic kids of La Llrona. So let's go ahead and like table the La Llrona discussion. They basically use it to scare us because we'll get into what that is. But here we go. Fast forward years later, and somebody, did you make a comment about the dark-haired lady on your TikTok, or did you did somebody comment it, or did you make a video about it? I don't remember how this all happened.
Okay, so how all this like unfolded was that I forgot what freaking week it was, but everybody was talking about the black top hat man, right? The guy that wears the black top hat, and everybody's seen him around. And so I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a video of if anybody has ever seen the long-haired woman that just looks, she's dressed like in white and she's just scraggly black hair, and she's looking at you, and her eyes are glowing, and she's like, doing this. Honestly, Pricilla,
What color were her eyes glowing?
so like to me they were glowing like piercing red, like gold.
Oh wow, okay, all right.
Yeah. So it's funny though, because literally before I hopped on, I didn't even tell Jake this because I didn't want to freak him out, but I was like, I really don't want to talk about this because it freaks me out. No, it really does. And it takes a lot of me to really freak out, but because I still remember it as if it happened last night. So I made this TikTok video basically saying like, hey, have you ever, seen this woman? Yada, yada, yada. And then people just started flooding my comment section saying, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it when I had my child. And you said too, Pricilla, like you had a friend that seen the same woman after she had her child.
Yeah, like in the hospital hovering over her, like took her breath.
Yeah. So like I had a very traumatic birth with my daughter. And so I wasn't channeling. I was at a very low state. And I will never forget it. When I came home from the hospital, I had Scarlett, my daughter, in the bassinet thing, and I was laying in bed. I can only be upstairs. Once I got upstairs, I couldn't move because, C-section, you can't go up and down the
Yeah.
stairs. So I was upstairs, and my husband had fallen asleep, and then next thing you know, like, I could feel somebody watching me, and I woke up, and that's when I saw her, like, clear as day. And she looked, it was so weird because she was shape-shifting as, like, my mom, but not my mom. But her hair, it was her hair that, like, freaked the hell out of me because her hair was just all, like, it was like as it was windy, but it wasn't windy. It was just like
Wow.
glowing. It was so wild. And her eyes were like piercing, like red gold. It was just, her skin was like gray, like wrinkly gray. And she was wearing
Oh,
like
wow.
this like long gown. And she was like, give me the baby. And I was just like, at first, my first reaction was under the cover. Like reverting back to how I was a kid when I saw like a really bad ghost or a demon. And then after a while, I was like, wait a minute, I'm a mom. I can't hide away. And so I saw, my daughter sleeping on the bassinet. And then I was just like, okay, she's not going to take her. Like, she's not going to take her. And she just said, give me the child. And she was trying to lean towards
Oh, wow.
her. And so I was like, I know I said, go away, go away, go away 3 times with like determination and
Right. Like reverse Bloody Mary.
yeah, right.
Bye, bitch, bye, bitch, bye, bitch.
I know. Yeah, that's basically what happened. So after that, she just like, she went away. And that was probably the first time I saw her was with Scarlett. And then the second time I saw her was when I was pregnant with Alex and Jake was deployed. And yeah, that's when Scarlett started having that weird nightmares and
Right.
things that were happening. It was just really weird. But yeah, that was like the most terrifying thing. And then that's when people started flooding with like with their stories. Like they've seen the same woman, and the people that have seen this woman have either had a child die, or they have had a really bad traumatic birth.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was just like, holy shit. Well, with Scarlett, I almost died, because her heart rate was going low, and then I was like all over the place.
That's crazy. Like we both had like a very similar experience with our first kids. Because remember, Arden's heart did that, and then my heart was going too. So our kids try to kill us, basically. They still are.
Yeah, I think it's just funny that we were all pregnant at the same time.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that was the only time. But I think it's when you told me that your friend had saw it, and I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God. So I literally the next night, I was so afraid that I was going to see her again. So I did like a house spell, and I just, cleansed the hell out of my house. And we were living in base housing at the time. And we were living in base housing, and we were connected. Like the houses were connected. So I don't know. I was like, did somebody else see it? Or yeah.
Yeah.
That's mainly like my experience was, yeah.
So somebody commented on the video though, right, from Ireland, saying that they have a being in Ireland called a Banshee. So when Crystal had said, oh, well, this one of the girls that follows me said that, that it might be a Banshee. And I was like, holy shit. Do you think that a Banshee, I don't know anything about Banshees. So I was like, do you think, like, is a Banshee a demon? Is Llrona a demon? Because they both had similar things. And once I looked into it, they have so much in common besides like the whole drowning the kids thing. So let's get into like who both of these beings are. Do you want to talk about Llrona? And if you guys look this up, it's Llrona. So that's how you say it.
2 L's.
Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I'm slowly dying of the black lung over here. So I'm just going to be forever sick.
Oh my God. Alex is on. If you hear a child saying open door, that's not a ghost. That's my child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. He's going to break in. The kids try to pick the lock. Arden tries to pick the lock now.
what he's trying to do. I don't know what he wants, and anyways.
If you wanna check on him, it's totally fine.
Uh,
Oh, you muted. Alright, guys, so I'm gonna talk about, the Banshee while she's gone. So the Banshee is an Irish being, I'm gonna say, and it originated in the 8th century, and this is back when women would sing, like, laments of mourning, and they were called keeners, and they were paid with alcohol. So after somebody died, these keeners would come out and sing, like, these sad songs to so they would sing these sad songs to mourn those that had died, but because they were paid in alcohol, this whole thing started saying, like, "Well, they get paid with alcohol, they're sinners. So your punishment is when you die, if you were a keener, you would come back as a banshee and haunt, like, forever in a state of purgatory." Some said she was a fairy, like a very evil fairy, and some said she was just a disembodied spirit whose scream was so loud that it was an omen of death, and some people, would, like, pass out if they heard a banshee. Some would know there was also a warning that somebody was gonna die in your family. So when the banshee would do her scream, it was a warning. And but not all banshees were bad. They were all connected to the family. And in Ireland, it said that each family has their own banshee because it's usually thought to be like a person that is passed on. So banshee's not really a demon, but that has well, I have a question at the very end of all of this to kind of tie that in. She takes many forms, and she's either a beautiful shrouded woman, a white dress, long red hair or dark hair, or elderly with silver hair and a long white dress. There's some accounts of her being headless, or this type of being headless, with a bowl of blood and topless. So, hey, let's party. Or an old woman with long hair and red eyes, or a veiled woman, kind of dressed like she's going to a funeral with long grayish hair. Some people said, the other alternate kind of theory about Banshee is the ghost of a young girl. It was a ghost of a young girl who died a really gruesome death and basically came back to seek vengeance on anybody. The only thing that she doesn't have in common with Llrona, which I'll have Crystal tell you about, is that she doesn't really come around when people have children. I guess every family has a banshee, and some are good and some are bad. So, but they do have a lot of similarities as far as like what they're wearing, the way they look, and kind of like the scariness of it. And they also said, and when I was researching this, that in most cases, the banshee is not there to kill you. It's there to warn you that somebody's dying, and there's even positive banshee experiences, like comforting the dead and kind of ushering them into the next life. So that's another interesting thing. La Llrona does not do that. So, yeah. And then let me think of there was one more point that I read about that was interesting. It's in some people think of their personal banshee as being like, or their family banshee being kind of like a guardian. So, none of that happens with the other urban legend being that we're gonna talk about. So, Crystal, do you wanna tell them who La Llrona is? If you're Hispanic, Mexican, or you lived in the Southwest, you know who this is because we all got threatened with it, and, it's scary.
Oh my gosh. So I'll be honest. I didn't hear about Yala, whatever. I can't even do it because like Llrona. I haven't heard about her until I was about 7 or 8. And it wasn't from like my side of the family. It was from my mom's like second husband's side of the family, who has basically raised me. And we had like cousins in San Antonio, and I will never forget it. So like where they lived was literally across the cemetery, and as like Mexicans and Hispanics, like we all party every effing day. So it doesn't matter, like it's Sunday, like if we always party every night. So every time we would visit, we would always have a party. So all the cousins would get together, and then all the grown-ups will go on the corner, and then the children would like go to the other corner. And I remember like one of my cousins was like, "Hey, have you ever heard Llrona?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" Because I was innocent. Uh, they're like, "It's a woman that comes out at night. If you stay out and if you hear her crying, it's because she's crying for her babies. And if she sees you out, she's gonna grab you and take you back into the water because that's where she drowned her babies." It's just like, what? And of course, you guys,
Like any water, right?
yeah, any water. So we actually, so above, like, there was actually like a lake or whatever, a creek, like by the cemetery. And
Perfect.
right, I know. And so like one of the kids was like, "Oh, I've seen her. She's right there. Like she's always there. I see her at night crossing, the
Oh
stream."
God, they were trying to scare you, but
Dude,
still,
yeah.
it works. It works
I know,
when you're
hell
little.
yeah, it worked because I was like, I'm never gonna go outside by myself. So I was always scared. And that stuck with me. Like I'll be 33 next month, and that shit still sticks with me. And I was
Yeah,
7. So basically it's the woman who drowned her kids. And then now like she mourns them and trying to find them, if I'm correct. But there's like different versions. There's one that she
yeah,
drowned her
yeah,
kids and then she drowned herself. And then there's
yeah,
other ones that she drowns her kids and then she just like she realizes what she has done. And so
yeah.
she's like, oh my God, that's why she's crying.
Right,
So when you hear her crying, you come out, and if you're a child, she'll take you to the lake or to any water and she'll drown you.
right.
And then yeah, so that's like the Kukui version of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so like that stuck with me, and I'll never forget it when I asked my mom like if she ever she goes, "Did your cousins tell you that?"
Yep,
She's,
yep,
"Oh
that's who we're
yeah."
talking about, Laura. Laura's asking who we're talking about.
Oh
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yeah. So like that shit. And the crazy thing is I remember one night, oh, fuck, I think I was 9, and I heard a woman wail outside. We were staying at my cousin's
Nope.
house, and I heard a woman wail, and it could have been like about, I don't know, 12 and I hear, "Ah," and I was like, "Holy shit, that's her!" And I felt I was like put covers over my head.
Yeah. Yep. That's the ultimate form of protection. For all you guys asking for spiritual protection, just bring a blanket and stick it on your head. Everybody knows that. Come on,
I
human
know, right?
crystals.
Hide your feet, hide your toes on, don't have them dangling out.
Yeah, you cannot if a toe's out, it's over.
Yeah, you're done. They'll
You're
get you.
getting your foot tickled. Um, so yeah, I have our story, my story. When I first heard about it, I was about the same age, and my older cousins were taking us swimming, and it was time to get out because it was getting dark. And this is in my grandma's pool in like the city in Phoenix, There's no natural water because there's canals, and pools. So he's like, we got to get out. And I was kind of fighting it. And he was the one watching us. And he's a teenager, like 15 or 16. He's like, no, you got to get out or La Llorona will get you. And I was like, fell right into the trap. What? And he's like, yeah. And he told me the story that she was a crazy woman that drowned her kids and then regretted it. So now she tries to take other kids and kill them and drown them. So that's cool. Traumatized by that. I didn't want to be by anything at nighttime that had water. um, but yeah, so there the two versions of it, the folklore meaning is the weeping woman or the wailer. She was supposedly a beautiful woman that fell in love with a sexy ranchero, had 2 kids. She caught him cheating and got pissed and killed her kids. And then after she found out how guilty she was, she starts crying and kills herself. And then the alternate theory is the kids were bastards, and she was like side chick, and she drowned the kids to avoid the Sancho wife from getting her kids. So yeah, but that's like a similar thing. She's been seen in a white dress, nocturnal wailing, long hair. She's also people have tried to link her to the Aztec goddess Cihuacotl, which is like a mother goddess or snake woman. But the snake woman's not mean. So what I wanted to ask you was because I asked you, I was like, do you think that La Llorona is a demon? You're like, yeah, I think so, because she wants to kill people. So what designates a demon in your eyes? Is it
I don't
the
know.
intent of a spirit, or is this like a divine, like you were created a demon?
I don't know. It's so funny though, because we actually had this conversation on my way to the grocery store pickup. I don't know, like, I feel that because so let's say she, if she exists, because people have seen her, and I don't know, like when that woman has said maybe that's, the woman, the Banshee that you saw, could it be Llrona? And I'm like, could that be? Like,
Like, is it a type of demon or
yeah.
spirit? You know what I
So like
mean?
to me, I think that what I saw was a demon, hands
Yeah,
down.
because that still doesn't fit, like, both of these stories. Do you know what I mean? Because yeah, like, La Llorona comes where there's kids around, but
But
she
you
doesn't,
hear her
like, pop
cry.
into your house. Yeah, she doesn't, like, appear in your house,
Yeah.
and, like, you didn't have a pool or any water
Dude,
nearby,
we were in
so
29 Palms. Come on.
yeah, there's
The
a
desert.
well, maybe? No, not even.
That's like the sewer.
Oh, yeah, maybe she travels sewers. It's interesting because I feel like we still haven't found out who that woman is, and who I'm gonna ask? I'm gonna message, the demonologist guy I had on, Nathaniel, because he knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's kind of, like, said that, demons are just like human spirits, basically.
You know what? I will say that. So, okay. So people often ask, like, regarding, actually, Jacob had asked me, do you believe that all criminals, like the really harsh criminals, can be redeemable? And I'm like, fuck no. Like, to me, they're not, and I say this because there there's kind of, and I know people have different, like, weird, like, beliefs, but I believe that the people that commit, like, the horrific crimes are demons. Like, demons are in people. Like, we all have
Mhm.
choices in life, and we have to choose, what we do. And the people who, like, commit, the heinous acts, I believe that's full demonic presence. Like, they
Okay.
chose that side. So I totally agree with the
So they
demonology.
chose a side, like, they started kind of veering towards, like a more evil path, I guess, or a lower vibrational path, and this demon stepped in with the person?
Or
Because,
like,
like,
let's
not
just, like,
nobody's
say,
gonna come out of the vagina with,
oh
like,
no,
you know what I mean? So they kind
no,
of
no.
maybe, like, set themselves up for failure in a sense?
So basically, they just, like, came up, like, with, like, we all have good and bad, so coming up,
Right.
and I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but I actually have seen, like, um, humans that are demonic. It's really
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that when you're, like, mediums like us, you'd see a lot of stuff like that. Like, I'm not a practicing medium, guys, but it's because I don't want to. I don't wanna deal with, not yet anyway. So, but yeah, I've seen people that, like, the look in their eyes completely different. They kind of, like, I've seen people, like, shift, and whether I'm seeing, like, what's inside of them, I don't believe that they're actually shifting, like, physically. I think that I'm seeing what's inside them. And some people have seen physical, like, shapeshifters, but to me, like, I just know, like, how my vision works, and, I think that I'm seeing, like, their internal demon, I guess.
yeah, I completely agree. I don't know, it's just really wild to me, but the crazy thing is that, like, everybody that saw my video have been commenting, and they've seen this woman before, and it's like, so we've all seen the same woman.
Right, right.
Like, that's just weird, and I don't think it's connected to La Llorona. I
Right,
don't.
right. Yeah, because even the more popular or the more well-known demons, like a succubus, won't she's not gonna come take the kids. She's gonna come try and seduce your husband or, something messed
Oh,
up like
yeah.
that, so,
Mhm.
but yeah. It's super I was thinking about that earlier because of, like, I've been reading a lot not a lot of, like, demonology stuff, but before on, I was looking into some stuff, and I was like, "I don't this is just so many different theories behind it, like, are the demons fallen angels? Are the demons a totally different creation? Are they just human spirits that are so evil and drawn to these horrible things that they
You know,
become that when they die?" Do you know what I mean? Like, the human part of them dies or something.
so, all right, hear me out, because I think it's so funny. I actually was thinking, I was like, oh my God, they're dementors. Like Harry Potter, sucking the joy. That's what they are.
That's I mean, we've heard the term like psychic vampire before. Um, so yeah, that makes sense. They suck joy, they suck, I mean, the energy out of the room, even when you get people like that that have these attachments involved. Have you ever encountered, when you're doing mediumship, have you ever encountered a demonic spirit or even a human spirit that is so evil that you had to like pull away from the session or pull away from the channeling?
Yes.
Can you
Yeah.
talk about that, or is that kind of like a secret or classified
Well,
information?
it depends on which one I want to talk about. Um, hey, we can talk about that the house cleansing case. And I went to go, and that
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah, for sure.
we'll just talk about that one. So, there's a person, a woman comes into a metaphysical shop that I currently give readings at, and she's like, I have a problem, blah blah blah. I feel like there is some demonic energy happening in my house. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm driving to her house with the intent of that I'm going to be dealing with a demonic presence. So I'm like super armed up. I even my husband even accompanies me. And I arrive, and it's absolutely not what I had in mind. Basically, what she was dealing with an attachment spirit. So like she was visiting a loved one at a prison complex that actually used to be years ago an insane asylum for the criminally insane. And she was kept walking through, and she felt like somebody stuck to her. She didn't understand like what that meant. And then every time she would come back to her house, she would feel like somebody was always with her. So as she's telling me the story, I'm already seeing this man or this thing. It's just so weird because I don't like, he's a man and I could see him, but like his face was just like crazy. Like it would just shift, and it was just like, I can't even explain because it looks so cartoon like. And then when I looked down at his head, it was just completely scrabbled. So that to me was like, okay, he's not mentally fit. Like something's weird. Anyways, he kept telling me like the crimes that he committed, and he would still do it to this day. He was not going to leave anytime soon. He loved terrorizing the the person I was helping, and also terrorizing the little girl that was in the house. And that was like in his waking life, that was his ammo. He was a child predator in his waking life. And so, but it, it was a lot. Like I felt sick. I even, as I was driving up there, I even knew something was waiting for me that was going to be very bad. But that was a moment that I actually realized that this spirit was also demonic, but it was human. It was really weird. Like he wasn't going to cross over, and he was kept pushing me out. I had a headache like nonstop while I was there. And as soon as I left the house, I felt better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like, what? So if there is just demonic spirits that were never human and they merge with a human spirit, do they ever separate? Like if you die with that spirit in you, does it ever separate? It's kind of creepy to think about. Do they, I think I've heard somebody use the term soul eater
I
because
never
they'll, yeah, I want to say it. I feel like I don't know who said it. I think Nathaniel said it actually. Um, he, he described it like that at one of the things I was watching with him, but it's it's very scary to think about, just all the people out there doing these atrocious things, and they're gonna die one day and be stuck here trying to keep doing that. You know what I mean? And so have you ever heard the term hitchhiker effect?
No, what is that? I'm
Okay,
like, oh
so
my
that's
God.
what happened to her, yeah. So, hitchhiker effect is like you go to a haunted place basically, or any place where there's paranormal activity, and then all of a sudden, like, it follows you home. It, like, hitchhikes with you.
Okay, so it's funny you say that because I always talk it's I say it like I say gum. They're like gum on a shoe. They stick.
Right.
I never heard the term hitchhiker, but of course I made the gum on a shoe like because
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
No,
I
that
guess
makes
that's like
sense
the
because
proper way
their
to
energy
put it.
is very sticky. Because when I see people with attachments or wounds inside like their energetic system. It almost is like almost like tar. So that makes sense too. I just
Oh,
didn't
the
know if you
tag
heard that
along.
term.
Yeah, like a tag along. Well,
Yep,
that
tag
reminds me of
along. Yeah, like Laura says, yeah. Yeah, so many people are afraid of that happening. And as many places as you've been and as many spirits you've been, around, have you ever been in fear of bringing somebody home with you, or when you're channeling somebody stepping in that you don't want to step in? How do you control that and how do you protect yourself
so,
from that?
you know what? I get you're like the fifth person to ask me that. I love it. Thank you. No, but it's funny though, because that's always the main question. Like if you're channeling all the time, how do you secure your space? Like how do you prevent the evil to open? Because basically you open the portal and you invite all beings. Remember, I've learned my lesson. Uh, so I I was pregnant with Alex and I accidentally let that woman in the portal when I didn't close it and I didn't set an intention. So I always
Right.
set an intention and I work with the stones and I make sure that I'm fully in the mental state that I can hold a space. I'm also more careful now that I have kids here. Because I don't want anything to attach to them. I don't want them to be influenced by anything or to scare. But yeah, so that's only happened to me once, but that was like a mistake and I caught that and I figure out what to do. But now I don't think it has happened since because I'm very cautious and I work with Archangel Michael a lot.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people suggest him because it's the easiest thing to call on. Everybody's familiar with angels, so and angels like that are non-denominational, so you don't even have to be Christian to use that sort
Yeah.
of angel. Yeah, I only ask because yeah, a lot of people ask that, or like if I'm going to like a place that I know is haunted, people are like, "You're not afraid something's gonna follow you back?" and all that stuff. So I'm like, no, not really.
Honestly,
I
it
think
was
that your
really,
intention goes in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? You see these
yeah.
people, ghost hunters, starting shit when they get there. They're antagonizing the spirits. Of course, somebody's gonna freaking scratch you. Like I'd scratch you if you were talking to me like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, hands down. Like, yeah, no, with me, like if when I went to New Orleans, haunted places, even my Airbnb, unknown to everybody that stayed there, was haunted. But they were very nice ghosts because they got me to first class. But um when I went to those haunted, like what is it? The cemeteries, just so I can
Mhm.
look around, I set an intention. I was like, no one's following me today. I'm not dealing with anybody shit. So yeah, that's like
Mhm.
always set an intention. So basically, like I actually have to talk like how I would talk with my kids. Like, no, not shielding everything, keeping away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more simple than people think. I think that you have to believe that you're able to do that for the beginning. Otherwise, you're gonna find yourself relying on outside objects when you don't really need anything because of your energetic system that you have this connection with the like, the earth and sky and everything in between. So yeah, that's I know somebody would ask that question listening, like, how do I protect myself? Or, if there's these scary demons like banshees and, angry La Llrona moms trying to like drown their
Around
kids or
you.
drown you. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's like how I would do. Just basically envision yourself in a bubble.
Yep. So I know how I would answer this, but you answer this. You're the guest. How do you identify an angel? How do you feel when you're in their presence?
So I know people have different experiences, but with me, how I know an angel's around, I feel very heavy, like a heavy armor kind of energy, but it's light. I also feel very like I wouldn't say anxious, but almost I don't know how to explain it. It's so like indescribable. Uh like healing, like if somebody gave me a really warm hug and I know that they're there. Um so comfort. I would feel extremely, extremely comfortable working with archangels. However, I sometimes feel very exhausted afterwards because they take a lot of stuff from me, and then I'm tired because they taken away like the stress. They took on like the heavy stuff, so I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's I know the heavy feeling, and it's not heavy in a bad way, guys. It's like
Yeah.
to me is like sort of like an not overpowering feeling, but you can feel the strength of this being that's by you or around you. It feels like it's all around you. And then yeah, it depends on what's going on. Like if you're in a situation and they're trying to protect you, it'll feel like a tough love type of thing.
Yeah.
If you're in a situation where you're like rock bottom, somebody fucking help me. Oh dear fucking
Ew.
trolls. Oh my god. Block user. Sorry. Oh my god. Sorry, I gotta block a troll, guys.
So classy.
Naked HD strips.
Ooh. Ooh.
So hot.
Oh, so.
All right. Block. All right. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm pretty sure I blocked everything. Yeah, should be good. Okay, they're blocked. I'm glad it wasn't the Nazi guy coming back. There was like a horrible Nazi guy came one night.
Oh, that's charming.
Online strips without clothing. Oh my god, at least use punctuation. But yeah, so there's our troll for the night. You go from angels to some trolls. But yeah, so you see a lot of interesting visions, right? When you're going into, so tell everybody what you do in your podcast, because not everybody here knows. This is like my channel is a lot of UFO stuff. So the paranormal stuff comes, but not as often as like UFO stuff. So what do you do? What do you do on your podcast?
So my podcast, I literally work with investigators. Also, I'm a criminologist. I'm getting specialties in human behavior, mental health. But I also like work with spirits who have passed, specifically like the cold cases, like unsolved homicide cases. That's kind of my specialty. Along with child exploitation cases, but I haven't gotten a child case yet. But I know Scarlett's been talking to somebody outside that's connected to the Oklahoma Girl Scout case. So that's another kind of scenario. But basically, what I do is I channel, and when I channel, I do remote viewing. So the spirit will allow me to go back into time and to see exactly what happened, the day, the time, who did it, and and we'll go from there. I get names. I also get like actual like visual of them. So what I do is that I understand that I can't legally say who they are because like liability. So I will get in contact with authorities and then prove to them like, hey, this is what so and so said, and then we connect the pieces together because I always say like Virgos, they have to hold things. They're super knowledgeable, but they're also very like, you can't say like, oh, I believe this is it. Like they have to have actual things. Similar to Amy Allen. Yeah. So yeah. And it's funny you say Amy Allen because I'm my cop friend, my buddy. Yeah. We're actually been working on 2 unsolved homicide cases. So yeah, that's been a little under wraps, which I actually, when I get around to it, my next episode will be this case that I'm working on. But of course, for legal reasons, I can't elaborate on a lot of stuff because ongoing unsolved homicide cases, there's a lot of details I cannot say at the moment. But if you keep following me, I'll always give updates.
Very cool. So how long have you been doing this specific work for?
Oh shit.
Or even mediumship?
Okay, well, criminology, 8 years. 8 years in crime, and mediumship probably. Well, I was doing it unknowingly at the age of 3, and then stopped, and then I didn't pick up until how old was I, Pricilla? Like what, 24?
Was it
I think it was
right
24.
before Scarlet or after Scarlet?
It was before. It was when you had your son, Arden.
So that is 2017.
No, it was not. It was it 2017?
Yeah, because you had Scarlet like a year later.
No, I had Scarlet in 2017. So probably about like 2016, 2015. No, we're in San Diego. I was still in San Diego, so it's probably 2015.
Okay.
But yeah, so working with other people with mediumships when I started doing it in 2015. And then that was working openly. But as mediumship, I've been doing it all my life, but I hadn't been really open about it.
Yeah, what is your best advice for people that sort of have this kind of gift and it's more sporadic than it is controlled? How would you, where would you refer them to, or what advice do you have for them? Because I know some people, more and more people's gifts are kind of like waking up right now. So more people are having these experiences that it used to only be like mediums would have, but I've met more people recently that have had more paranormal experiences around deceased loved ones or just spirits in general.
So my first advice would go see Amanda.
Oh, that's right, Amanda. Yeah, I need to link her episode because she was on here. I don't know if you guys saw when Amanda Lynette Mader came on. But yeah, I'll link her episode in the
She was one
description.
of my mentors. So yeah, love her. She's amazing. Uh,
Yeah.
secondly, I would just say like learn how to do like mediumship exercises. You can basically do like those memory cards. Like you
Mm.
played hit like the matching cards, just flip them over and then figure out like where do you feel, a card is. It's
Right.
so funny though, because I loved doing that game as a kid. Like I loved it. That was the only time my mom knew that I could shut up. So I would play that game in the corner and I would get really, really good at it. And I didn't know that I was actually practicing like my abilities. Um, and then just learn how to shield too, because sometimes when you start becoming open, you may feel like a little overwhelmed. It happens. To learning how to shield is also my next thing.
All right. Yeah, so those are some great advice, but I will put Amanda's I'll put her website in the description too because she has tons of like affordable ebooks for people just starting out in classes, and she does like a monthly class membership too, it's not really like that expensive. So Crystal, how did you start? Laura wants to know how you started being a public medium, like being a medium publicly or working as a medium.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like how long have I been doing that?
How did you start? Like, what was
Oh.
your transition from doing it, like, for friends and family versus doing it how you're doing it now?
How did I do it? Okay, so my husband's my husband was we were stationed in San Diego and my husband's an officer and I said, "Hey, he's an officer in the Marine Corps." And I said, "Hey, how would you feel if a lot of people and your CO found out that I was a working medium? I would, you know, give readings." And he was like, "Sure." And I was like, that wasn't
Mhm.
exactly the kind of okay. And I took it. I was like, okay, he's not gonna care. So I knew he wouldn't have cared. I just needed that like confirmation. It's always good to have support. So yeah, basically I had to I had to basically come to my own senses and not really care what other people thought of me. And that's how I was pretty open about it. I literally posted something on Facebook or I don't even know what publicly. And I said, "Hey, I'm weird and I talk to dead people. Here's my story."
Yeah.
Yeah. I lost a
Well,
lot of friends, but for good reasons. They weren't
yeah,
my friends.
they're not gonna accept you, then they don't need to be around. Yeah, Laura, she's interested in teaching. Yeah, Laura, hit up Crystal, on Instagram because I put her
Yeah.
information there because that's a more of, like, a conversation for you 2 to have on the side, but yeah, Laura's awesome. She's actually gonna be on Friday for, like, my experiencer,
Oh,
segment with,
nice.
my friend Steph from UIP Experiencers. But hello, everybody that just joined now. We have Kat, Laura, Felicia, Steph. I saw Carolina in there. I see these people are so awesome. They're so supportive. They're always here. Thank you to the Naked HD guy for coming in momentarily getting blocked.
We gotta have a good spam.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah. So, what are you doing next? We're coming up on 45 minutes. And do you have anything you want to add to the conversation? Like, is there anything that we missed? Like, who do you think? Do you think that that lady is a disembodied spirit of a person? Or do you think she's some sort of weird, demonic, interdimensional, like, thing just wandering the earth and popping into women's homes that just had kids?
Dude, I don't know. Like, so it's so funny you said like interdimensional. Like, you know how I feel about
Yeah,
space.
but the spirit world's
No, no, no.
interdimensional, right?
Well, okay.
Like, it's
Um,
another dimension.
well,
It's
I
not
know
literally, like, up in the sky, it's, like, another dimension.
the way that I see it actually helps me sleep at night. But I don't know, like, it's just really weird. What I actually want to understand is how the fuck is all of us seeing the same woman and not a lot of people are talking about it.
Quantum teleportation, and also, yeah, I just wanna know why she knows that people are having babies and she needs to go haunt them.
Like, is she there, like, at the waiting room or, like, during delivery? I don't know. It really freaks me out.
Yeah, I had to tell my
Definitely.
friend Jordan to watch this, she's the one that saw the
Yes,
lady.
yes, yes. So I don't know, that's, like, kind of, like, my I don't know, my question, but another thing is that we I so I got this really weird TikTok thing, it was called it's called, like, leaping, like, into different dimensions, like, while you're in I don't know, it's really weird, and I don't know how I landed in there, but you'd be proud. So could I understand spirits, like, leap into different timelines, because that's what they're able to do, but if she was to take a child, like, what would happen?
Yeah, I don't know. That's I mean, we have scenarios of people disappearing all the time, and we don't know what happened.
You see, and that's the thing. Yes, and so, like, people disappear, and then it's like, where the fuck did they
Yeah,
go?
but the people that there's, like, no evidence. Have you watched that documentary, Missing 411?
Oh, no, I have not.
Oh my god, you have to, because it's all weird disappearances, like, these guys were, like, camp it's a book too, but it's all in national parks, and you would think oh, so, like, one of the stories is these guys are hunting with their dad, and this is, like, a yearly trip. Their dad's not senile, he's of sound mind, and they do this thing when you're hunting, like, people's spot or whatever, and
Mhm.
the dad just disappears from his spot, and it's not like him to do that. There was no evidence of, like, an animal attack, like, no blood, nothing. No cry, no scream, nothing. So, stuff like that happens, and it's like, where did they fucking go? Or, like, remember the dude I was, when I did the Clubhouse talk about Randy Roscoe out here, in Kentucky? He
Yeah.
disappeared by Mammoth Cave. Nothing was there's no evidence of animal I'm sorry, like, if an animal fucking attacks you, there's gonna be blood. Or if you're in a group of people and they're only, like, 6, 10 feet away and you're attacked, you're not gonna scream?
It's just it blows my I don't know, like, it's so alright, so funny you said that
So, like,
because
we've heard of alien abduction, right? But what about spirits abducting or demons abducting?
I mean, didn't one of the angels take out one of I forgot who up to heaven? Like, he disappeared.
Yeah.
He didn't die. He basically, like,
Oh
whoop.
my god, I'm gonna die.
I don't even know
I
his
think it
name.
was Sandalphon.
Was it
It
was it
was,
him?
he turned into Sandalphon.
There it is. Yeah,
I
so,
can't
like
think of the guy that got abducted, but it's a dude in the Bible, but he turned into a badass archangel.
he did. So, I mean, like, are all these disappearing people turning into badass angels? Like, we don't know about? I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's just, like, questions I think about, like, can we disappear into other dimensions? Like, another one.
I
Hey,
know, I just blocked him.
um, like, I just think that, like, if people are talking about jumping into different timelines, like, timelines exist. Like, let's go down that rabbit hole for a bit. Timelines exist. So if spirits are hopping into different timelines and they take somebody, like, or demonic takes somebody, and, like, it's weird. Like, whatever this woman is, if she ended up taking a child, where would the child go? Would the body be, like, deceased, or would the body disappear? Like,
Ye yeah, I don't know. That's one of the things. That's why that it's so creepy when stuff like that happens. And there's like so many cases, and there's a lot in the national parks too, which is super weird.
I know Jake's been wanting to go do the national park to go camping. Oh, he wants to go. He wants to fly up to the Devil's Mountain, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Tower, Devil's Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he climb?
Yes, but he wants to fly.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I don't know. Jake's a pilot and stuff, and I'm supposed to trust him, but I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah, Kat says, I've never heard of spirits that can hop time. Well, think about it. Like, time is only on this dimension. The way what causes time is like our gravity, the way the Earth rotates, the way the planets are moving.
So
But like in the next dimension, they don't play by the rules. And what if there's not time? And that's one of the theories, is there isn't time. It's like this omnipresence of every spirit. So they can just kind of move around. Or if you're in the other dimension, like the astral or whatever that people call it, it's time is very different. There's still some sort of time, but it's like, like in your dreams, you're hopping around. You're like, oh, but it was yesterday, and then it was tomorrow in the dream and stuff like that. But yeah, they can do that because you get to think they're not like bound by our rules. They're not bound by gravity like we are. Just think of entanglement. A lot of people think entanglement's kind of like the answer to all that.
Yeah, Laura, I need to. We were planning on it. We definitely are. Now Jake wants to buy land out in Montana, and I'm like,
nice.
Like all these people disappearing and all these cases I've been getting. I'm like, what are you saying?
I mean, you might be better off out there away from everybody.
I know, right? Yeah.
Cities scare me now after not living in like big cities. Like,
well, I'm right outside of Houston, and I just I absolutely hate this location. And it's funny. It's like, it's not funny. It's just scary because this is like the big trafficking hub. A lot of people don't understand that. And so, that's also part of my other specialty is in human trafficking and also child exploitation cases. Like in grad school, I took on like the worst case ever. The only things I would never touch is animal cruelty cases. That makes me sick. Yeah, it's funny. It's like Jake was like, you can take the children cases, but you can't take the animal cases. And I was like, I know.
Well, you're trying to think that, there's a different kind of justice, and you have to be a certain type of person to take certain cases. You know what I mean? There's people out there that won't do kid cases. I mean, if you're working, then you have to do whatever comes your way. Like if you're working in a precinct, right? But if you're doing like independent work, then you get to study what you want to study and do the cases you want to do.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know how I feel about this area. So
yeah. Well, go to Montana. Get the land.
Get the land.
Build your dream house there.
Well, so we're actually moving. We were planning on moving. So
to Montana?
No, D. We're gonna buy another house out here, and then he wants to own like houses in Montana and houses in Florida. And I was like, geez, Louise. It's like, Florida, really?
I was like, when did Jay become a Jay? Oh my God. I just called your husband Jay.
Oh my gosh.
Jake, I got half of it right. When did he become a billionaire? What is it? Land guy.
A land guy, yeah. I go from zero to beach. Yeah, I don't know. It's just what I also don't like Florida laws, so I'm like,
oh yeah, there's a lot. It's hard to find where you want to settle forever, and I know like a lot of people want to. A lot of people like staying where they're from, but if you're like military, you've been traveling, you're seeing all these different places, it makes it hard to pick one place. Well, Christian, you came at the end, but we were talking about two kind of like what would you call them, like urban legend spirits?
Yeah, like I guess so.
Like folklore. I know because the Banshee is considered folklore. Kind of like, and then I think Llrona is kind of more of like an urban legend because it feels like it's got an urban feel still. But then we were talking about what Crystal does from criminology and mediumship. So yeah, but we've only got a couple minutes left. But yeah, sorry. the replay will be up like pretty much right after this. So do you have any closing thoughts? Where can people find you? Do you have any other like lives coming up or anything like that?
So I don't have any other lives coming up. Because this week's gonna be kind of crazy. But I do need to get a case up. It's a West Virginia unsolved homicide case. We can't find, we can't find the body. But Crystal knows where the body is. But that's all I'm going to say about that. But that case will be featuring on my podcast, The Visitation. You can hear it anywhere you hear your favorite podcast. And if you have any questions about like mediumship and crime, or you have cold cases that you want me to take a look at, go ahead and send me a message on Instagram, or you can send me an email at thevisitationpodcast@gmail.com.
Very cool, Christian. That'd be cool to see. You can send it to either of us. I'll get it to her, or he says he has spirits evidence. So yeah, hit us up on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to everybody listening now or later. I'm going to apologize about my voice. I'm getting over something that won't go away. We think it's black lung. No, it's really not. Maybe. I don't know. I don't feel sick. Just I want to cough all the time. And then we're like, is it allergies? So I might be okay. I might be having black lung. I'll let you know. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks for
night.
listening. Bye.